Hey, Sophie here, and welcome to my kitchen where I'm going to show you what I eat for high protein snacks, because I see a snack as a really great opportunity to get in nutrients, lots of wonderful nutrients, delicious nutrients, but specifically protein. Now, protein is very important for women in their 50s, 60s, and 70s, and we want to get our protein in a form that is really, I hate using the word clean, but I'm just going to say it, clean in the sense of if you can have protein that is full of fiber, phytonutrients, phytochemicals, and antioxidants, that is how you are going to optimize your protein requirements or your protein intake actually. So it's not always just about the amount of protein. There is an obsession with how much protein everybody needs. I'll go over that in a moment. But it's the quality of the protein that is very, very important. So I'm going to show you, if you're new to my channel, here I am in my kitchen, what I am in my early 60s eat every single day to keep really healthy in the form of snacks. And if you don't know me, this is what I do, and I've helped hundreds and hundreds of women in their 50s and 60s and 70s to get into the best shape that possible and to maintain it as a lifestyle for life. And part of that, a very big part of that, is nutrition, and a big part of the nutrition is making sure that you are bathing your cells with the nutrients that they need so that you don't go hungry and you don't have to take weight loss medications, because it really is all about giving yourself really solid, optimized nutrition. That way you will release the weight, release the belly fat, release the inflammation, and feel amazing, and most importantly, lower your risk of chronic disease. Okay, so the amount of protein, how much do we need? So for most people, it's going to be between 1.2 and 1.6 grams of protein per kilo of healthy body weight. Often it will be framed as per kilo of weight, but if you are currently overweight, you don't want to go with that calculation with the current weight that you are. You want to think, well, what would guesstimate be my ideal weight be, and then do the calculation that way, and I will put this calculation in the description to the video. But for most women, it is going to be somewhere in the region of between 80 to 120 max grams of protein a day. More like the sweet spot in the middle for most of the women that I coach is going to be around 90 grams a day. So we get that obviously through our breakfast, our lunch, and our dinner, and we want to spread that throughout the day. But snacks, again, are a really good opportunity to fill the gaps. If maybe you had a lunch or a dinner that you're like, yeah, I just didn't quite get that amount of protein in. Now, if you'll follow me, my preferred protein sources are protein sources that are going to have so much nutrient content in them. Again, they're going to have the fiber, the phytonutrients, the phytochemicals, and all these compounds in the fiber to help you to ward off disease, lower your risk of chronic disease, and so that is mainly going to be from the plant-based kingdom. But if we're eating mainly plant-based to get our protein, then we do need to be a lot more intentional. And it is worth being intentional. It's worth putting in the time to really dial this in, because then you're going to get the best of every world, and it's win-win. So here are the snacks that I've got right here on my counter. And actually, I've literally just come back from the gym, so I am hungry for a really delicious snack, protein-rich snack. So I won't be having all of these, but I'll certainly be having one of them. So number one is you could just make an afternoon smoothie. Now, or a mid-morning, whenever you want your smoothie. So for most of my clients, I recommend for breakfast having a morning smoothie that has very specific, different ingredients in it, depending on, I customize it for the individual. However, this I regard as being the kind of delicious, protein-rich snack smoothie. And it's chocolate, as you can see. So it's made with raw cacao powder. It's also got peanut butter powder in it, because if you put gobs of peanut butter in it, if you're on a weight loss journey, that's not going to be very helpful. So much better to use peanut butter powder, because then you get the lovely peanutty taste. So this is a chocolate, peanutty, delicious smoothie. It's made with unsweetened organic soy milk, and it's got dates, and I'm going to put the recipe for this underneath, but it is so delicious, and it is so jam-packed with protein. I can't. It's so good. Okay, so that is snack number one. All right, let's go to snack number two. Snack number two is, this is a cherry chia pudding. And chia pudding is fantastic because you can put all sorts of ingredients in it to pump up the protein. So what I like to do a blended chia pudding because it sets up really quickly. So what I do is, in the blender, I will almost always use soy milk, because that has the highest protein content out of any plant-based milk. So I use soy milk, and I blend it in a blender with whatever fruit I'm using. I love to use strawberries or cherries, frozen organic. And so you blend it with the chia seeds, and you blend the chia seeds because, again, it'll then set up very, very quickly. Now, to that, what I'm going to add to really pump up the protein, you could stir in a little tablespoon of or a scoop of protein powder before it sets up. You could also pop in 2 tablespoons of hemp seeds, which are nice and high in protein. And then your toppings, you want to think sort of rich, protein-rich toppings to give it a little bit of crunch. And that's almost always going to be seeds. So you could do pumpkin seeds, you could do hemp seeds, you could do some nuts, you could chop up some walnuts, chop up some pecans, unsalted, unroasted if possible. And then you've got yourself, and the thing that I love about a chia pudding is it's very, very filling. And so if you're somebody who just needs to be filled up, and this is something that you could have, like if you've got a long stretch between lunch and dinner, for instance, and never go to dinner hungry, that's what I say to all of my clients. These snacks are all going to really fill that gap. Cherry is my favorite, frozen organic cherries. Okay, so, and I'll put the recipes for all of these underneath the video. So that's number 2. Okay, let's go to snack number 3, is a white bean hummus. So I make my own hummuses because don't forget that most store-bought hummuses are full of oil. Full. And it's not going to be the highest quality oil. It's really not. And even if it is the highest quality oil, it's a lot of oil for you to be eating. And oil is very, very high in calories. And so my ladies who are on a weight release journey, which 80 to 90% of my clients are, we don't want to be just having a big oily snack. So we make our own hummuses. You can buy some oil-free hummuses. There are some brands out there. So read your ingredient label very, very carefully. But this is a white bean hummus / spread. And all I do is I take a can of really good quality white beans. This is a brand I like, Eden Organic. And rinse it really, really well. And you just throw it in a processor with, and what I love to do is some roasted garlic. And in a white bean spread, I love to put either some fresh rosemary, you could put a little bit of, fresh thyme. It's lovely to have that herb in it. You could put a little bit of tahini in, which is more of a traditional hummus recipe, but you don't need to. It's so simple. You just throw it in your processor, blend it up. I put lemon juice, roasted garlic, because I love roasted garlic. You could put garlic powder in if you don't want to go to the trouble of roasting a head of garlic, and then some herbs, and it keeps for, it'll keep for 4 to 5 days in a secure container, airtight container in the fridge. And then what I will do is I'll use a cracker such as Thin Crisp. So I'm very, very careful with our crackers that we don't want to have all the other ingredients, the salt and the oils and the crappy ingredients, because crackers can be everybody's downfall, right? Crackers and chips. So I'm very careful with the crackers, and this one is one that I really like. It's very thin, very crispy, and it holds a spread or a hummus beautifully. So that is snack number 3. We are almost there. Snack number 4 is I sprout, and I sprout every single week. And this is a high protein blend. And it's sprouted, I think it's chickpeas, mung beans, and lentils, I think, in this blend. I will put the blend under that I'm using and where I got it from, because where you get your sprouting seeds from is very important. I'll put it in the description to the video. But these aren't quite sprouted. These are going to take a couple more days to sprout, but when they do, they are so crunchy and delicious. And I dry them off, I put them in a little silicone bag, and you can just pick at them like trail mix. Super, super high in protein and so healthy. So healthy. And then the final snack is a trail mix. And this one I make with pumpkin seeds, tart dried cherries. You could use unsweetened cranberries. You could put some raw almonds in, but the star of this trail mix is called a baru nut, B-A-R-U. I will put put it in the description to the video. And this particular nut is very, very high in protein and slightly lower in fat, very high in antioxidants. So it's the newer in the nut family that I've come across that I really, really love. So, and that's a little trail mix that you can pop in your car. I'll put it in my little silicone bag, take with me on the go. So if I'm ever hungry, I've got that. So there you go. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 really high protein, delicious snacks. Enjoy. Make sure you subscribe, and I'll see you next time.